Hello, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Pearls of Wisdom today with Katharina and Navasit. Navasit, what
Yeah.
question do you have for me today?
My question is, what is the light worker?
Well, generally it's yes, somebody who works for the light. That means that a lot of people in today's world are not really working for the light. And now let's compare about consciousness levels. We have consciousness levels that are fear-based. This is like shame and guilt and greed and I'm not good enough, all that kind of stuff that is below and connected in this block of negative-based consciousness. So everybody who is still within that consciousness is definitely not a light worker. Because when you are still based in fear, you cannot love. See, this is something that is so difficult to understand for many. The people they love ice cream, they love you, they love whatever. Love has become just a four-letter word. But once you are coming into a higher consciousness, and that is the first step into a higher consciousness, is courage. And the courage is to face what is really happening, not to back up, to really look at things that are happening, to face it, to help to dissolve it, to not run away, and to deal with all the negativity that is in the world and that is happening around you. So that is when you start to work for the light, when you have the courage to face things. Now, once we are in this courage, you don't necessarily have to work for the light. You can also work for the dark. This is your choice. Like everybody has a choice to work for positive or negative things. But if you work for the darkness, you come to a point where you cannot go further. And this is like, according to David Hawkins, like power versus force. When we have the table of 1000, we have below 200, the consciousness level of 200 is fear. And then we have courage, we have willingness, we have acceptance, and we have also then the intellect up to 500. 500 comes love. Now, all those who are not working for the light cannot move beyond 500 in the consciousness level. Because they will not be able to open their heart to understand what love is. And love is not what you expect it to be. Love is not an emotion. If you are falling in love, whatever, with, you know, it's just that, like I love ice cream. It's kind of, this is just like, okay, some taste that triggers some emotion. I love chocolate, I love sugar, because that gives me that boost of satisfaction for a certain time, that sweetness that I'm lacking because I cannot love. This is where all the addiction comes from. So a light worker has to be definitely like beyond courage, and then you can choose the willingness. Are you willing to work for the light or for the dark? And then you can come into, you can have the part that you only use your brain, your intelligence, to separate and to judge. There is all the judgment involved that you can see in the world, you know, good and bad, good and bad. This is that is duality. That is based good and bad, but we're talking about polarity, which is light and dark. We have light and dark, and we talked about before that, like positive, negative, yin yang, breathing in, breathing out, day and night, has no judgment. We need both. But in duality, there is like when you judge something as good and bad. Now we can say that those who work for the dark, they stuck in duality,
I see.
in the judgment. Those who work for the light, they move on through all this only brain judgment. And these are the people who then use the brain cells in the heart.
Mm-hmm.
This is why the saying is you can only see really with your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the point, because the heart also have brain cells. And we can maybe say that heart brain cells always come from the perspective or from the standpoint of what would love do now.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't judge just for your personal egoistic gain, like fame, money, what all is connected with it, but you first think about what is the gain of everybody. You know, the thing is, you don't have to be poor as a light worker, or you don't have to be whatever negative like they say about the light workers, about you not have to have anything, what is also like in the Bible and religion, that if you want to go to heaven you have to be poor. This is not true. You cannot attach. The attachment is the number one problem.
So we
you
have
remember I said before that I chose at one point to live not with a lot of money, but I always had what I needed, not always what I wanted, but always what I needed. And I did that because at that time I was afraid, if I would have all that, I would turn in the wrong side. So that was a choice. I gave up the money. I lost a lot of money. I lost my house. I lost everything. So, but that was a choice. I wasn't clear when I choose that what's going to happen in my life. But it was what I needed as a lesson to surrender to that part that I always have. I've never was hungry in my life. I never had no roof over my head. I always had beautiful houses, but I never had like big possessions. And that's what I chose, because that I can really pursue my path as a light worker.
Okay. So it depends. It means that we don't have like a attachment. Yeah.
Yes,
right?
exactly. You know, this was very important for me when I had to leave the country when I was born. You know, when I left Switzerland, I had really to leave behind more or less everything. And you know, I was very much aware that if you read stories about any master, everything, they always had to leave home. They had to go. And I was very much aware that this is part of the journey. And as you know, I have an agreement in Thailand to come here for a reason that was alive 700 years ago. So I had to go. I could have stayed there, but I could not have finished that part of my karmic agreement. That it was an agreement, and I followed the light in that way, my understanding of what happened.
Yeah, it's good. And by the way, some people might think that about the light worker. If some people they are not brave enough to be the light worker, but they want to be in the higher dimension.
Yes, yes, exactly.
It's kind of
well, there are many. You know, the whole New Age circus that is actually taken over by the cabal, by the negative energies, are these kind of people. They don't have the courage to really step into the light, to really let go, and they are easily to corrupt. So you can find them everywhere, but somebody who really steps out of that circus, of that, you usually found that they are alone and they don't have many friends, because I was kicked out of many groups because I asked questions that were not convenient. So I look very, very sharp at things, what they really are. And again, I use kinesiology so many times to really find out, because sometimes the surface is very beautiful and shiny and everything seems okay. But when you look a little bit deeper, when you take off the ribbon and the nice cover of the box, you know, what is in the box is very often not what it represents in the outside. So you can also see that, like, many people who want to be light worker, they use all the light stuff, and you know, I even know somebody who has in the signature in the email with love and gratitude, blah blah blah, but I know the person, there's not much love and gratitude there, you know.
So so are some originally born as a light worker?
Yes. In fact, many are, because we are all coming, in fact, from the light and have gone into the darkness by choice. By choice to help to bring that light into the dark, to get out. But unfortunately, a lot of people have lost, or their light is just like somewhere dimmed somewhere in a box. And generally we can say everybody is born, everybody who has life, you know, life is light.
I see.
So we can also see every plant, every animal, everything that is connected to life has that spark of light, of the divine light within, otherwise it would not exist. But that has nothing to do with to really do the work as a light worker, because it is work. I can tell you, it is work, and it's not easy. So most people, they just want to jump up, like, you know, a stair. You don't want to go the stair, you take a lift, you go fast. It doesn't work. You have to go the stairs step by step. Because otherwise you don't have the foundation to really understand what is happening.
So it means that the light worker can be in the parallel with the I mean the day-to-day work, right?
Yes, exactly. You have to bring in your light in your day-to-day work, like whatever you are doing. If it's peeling potatoes, it doesn't matter. Like, for example, if you cook food and you put your light into that food, your food is healing. If you are having negative thoughts, you're angry, and you're cooking food and you put all that anger in the food, your food is distracting. So everything what you do, and I don't you know me, you know, I'm not always just light. I can get furious. I have quite a temper sometimes that blows up. But you know, when people are very strong with Uranus Aquarian energy, it's sometimes like an explosion. And it's even to have the courage to let that happen, you know. You know how many people, just not to lose face, they're not authentic.
I see.
So if a light worker, true light worker, an authentic person, you always know where you're at with them. If they're angry, they show it. If they're happy, they show it, whatever. You always know exactly. They don't play any games with you.
Okay. It's like you show the sincere.
Yeah, you are sincere, you're honest. And you know, even when people are doing something, you say, no, you don't do that with me, or whatever it is. You are clear, you're honest, you're authentic. I think that is one of the most important traits also of a light worker, to be authentic.
So actually it is easy to become a light worker, as you said before.
Because
right?
it is your nature.
Yeah. Mhm.
It is generally your nature because your spark of life within you is light.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
And then you have the free will to choose. We are here in a place of free will, so you can choose to work for the light and the dark. And you have to see that. And again, what I said, remember, the darkness cannot go above a certain consciousness level. This limits them. This is why in the end the light always wins. Because the consciousness level of people working in the light is higher than those working in the darkness.
Yes.
Just imagine you have a dark room, you put in one candle.
Yeah.
And there is already light.
Uh-huh.
And this is so important to understand, because this is what is happening now when people are waking up and move. What happened now in with the truckers, with all that what happened in the world, they move into an energy of love. They start to care for each other. They start to support each other because of the threat that is against human being itself.
So it's kind of the love energy all over the world.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And this is why it happened now. All the politics and all that is happening is important to make people suffer, to turn towards the light.
Oh. I see this point. And if people strong enough, they can go with the right.
Yes, and they can overthrow everything what is in the darkness, and they move on in the light. And this is what happened, that we are moving into this 1,000 years of golden age. That is now the transition that we are in, because the consciousness level of people is rising, and those people with the lower consciousness level, they will die, they will leave the planet, they move on to another timeline.
And one more thing, I'm curious about if we are the light worker, is it more easier to go to the higher dimension than the ordinary people?
Yes, it is. Because you start to love what you're doing. You know, very often people who are not working for the light, they are working in fear, a fear of losing the job, fear of having not enough money, fear of this and this many. The moment you move into that light consciousness, the moment in a way you surrender to your higher self, to surrender to the divine within you, to that life spark or love spark, it's both the same. You are more confident, because you will experience very fast that your higher self takes care of you. Because this is the moment that things start to happen, that you meet the right person at the right time, the right information comes to you. It's everything is kind of moving more smooth. It's no more like this. Like if I don't please my boss, he's gonna fire me. You know, kind of what kind of stupid fear is that, you know? So okay, fire me. That's fine. I'm going. I don't really want to work with these people. They are trying to make your life miserable, and they take out so much of us. So you will also see that those who are conscious as light workers, most of them are working for themselves. They have their own little company or coffee shop or whatever it is, or artwork, whatever they're doing, but they are not usually in big companies. But they are exceptions, I have to say, because a lot of light workers also infiltrate the big companies to switch something around, and I'm really glad I don't have to do that.
You mean that in the big project to change the
big
world.
companies. Yes.
Yeah, to change the world.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what a spy is, right? So when you want to be a spy, so for example, you have you're born in a certain country and speak that language and everything, and then you move away, you grow up in a different place, but you still remember everything from the back. So you're ideal to be chosen as a spy because you can go back into that country, you understand everything, and you can go forth and back. So a spy always has to have the background from a certain place to be able to exchange knowledge and doesn't filter from inside out to crash something. And we have many light workers who are in this role that are even like presidents or presidents of countries or companies or whatever, or high level CEO that are in fact from the light side, but play the game. They are better actors. And they play the game and they know what their duty is, what they are about, and they have to kind of blow up from the inside out the company, the country, whatever it is. And this is what is happening in the world now.
Oh, wow, amazing.
So light work is not being boring, you know, it's not you sit just and pray and meditate and blah, blah. You are solidly standing on the earth and you're integrated in the daily business of whatever you choose to be, whatever talents you bring in, you know, and you infilter this negative energies to kind of blow them up, to raise the consciousness of everything.
So I can summarize that we have to be brave to be the light worker. And
that's the number one step.
Yeah, we have to tell our higher self that we are the light worker.
Yes.
Right?
And you have to stand for it also in life, not just your higher self. You have to stand up for right, for truth, for love. And not be bribed anymore with money to do something which you know exactly that goes against the light.
Yeah.
Easy and not easy at the same time.
Yeah, because when the money comes, it's not that situation. Sometimes people are not easy to handle.
But see, that's again, it's just brainwash. You believe. People believe abundance is money.
Mostly.
And that's wrong. That's completely wrong. I have experienced that so many times that abundance is not money, but money is part of abundance.
Yeah.
But the moment you surrender to the higher self, abundance is coming into your life in whatever form it comes. You will always have enough. You will always have what you need for your life. And life becomes also an adventure. It's not just like you go to work at 8 o'clock, you come home at 5 o'clock, you have lunch and dinner, and then you crash in front of the TV because you're worn out. It's completely different. But you have the courage to step out of that norm, of that box of normal norm.
Yeah. I think people understand more clearly about light worker and abundance.
More and more people are waking up, and that's the good part of it.
Yeah.
But they still need teachers who have gone the path for a long time to give them the courage to really step forward and forward and forward and not fall back into the old patterns.
It's time now.
Yeah. And remember, even if you're a light worker, you're still a human being with everything what it needs to be a human. You have still your emotions, you have your feelings, you have needs, and this is not different. But it goes beyond all the needs. You know, you go a step higher and you can accept things that a person in the norm in the box cannot accept.
I see. Oh,
Enough, huh?
enough. More clear, more clear.
Okay, very good. Okay, so anything else?
Oh, that's enough for me.
That's enough. Okay, good. Okay, so thank you for the question. And if you watched that video, thank you everybody for watching the video. Please like and share, and see you next week.
Okay, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, wait a second. I have to find where to turn it off again.